everyone. Nice excitement. Welcome to the first ever Trello Day. Packed house. Okay, I'm Michael Pryor. I'm the co-founder of Trello. I'm really excited to be here with you today. I hope you're as excited as well. So we have really passionate users. It's one of the best things about making this product is meeting people like you, our super fans. And we've seen incredible things can happen when we get those people together in a room. I remember I was in Paris at an incubator. They had invited me there to do a Q&A session. And I spoke on stage, and afterwards I went down and sat in the audience. The woman who was running the show had a couple startups come and show off their Trello boards. And as I'm sitting there, they're talking about their boards, about the tips and tricks that they were doing, and all of a sudden everyone's eyes are lighting up. Their hands are going up, they're asking questions. There was so much energy in the room, and I was like, we have to do this. We have to recreate this. And so we went around and did small events across the US, in New York, and Austin, and a few other places. And we've been trying to replicate that on a bigger scale. And so finally, we're able to do that today. And I'm really excited to give a space for all our Trello users to connect, to share your tips and tricks, to supercharge your Trello boards. So for the first ever Trello Day, here's what to expect. I'll give you a little update on what we've been doing, why we're here in Barcelona. We'll share our history with you, some behind-the-scenes stories like where Trello got its name from. I'll share all this exciting accomplishments that we've done over the past year. Then I'll pull back the curtain a little bit and give you a peek about what's coming up for Trello in the next year. I'll share some of our hopes and dreams, give you some insight into what we're thinking about. And lastly, I'll tell you a little bit about the agenda for today. So you might be wondering, why are we in Barcelona? It's obviously because of the beautiful beaches. No, it's because we have so many people in Europe using Trello. In fact, in France and Germany and UK alone, we have over 1 million users each. Our blog is localized in French and Portuguese. And then later this month, I'm happy to announce that it'll be available in German and also Spanish. That's great. So we've got great customers and partners here. You're going to hear from Typeform. That's a local Barcelona startup. They're launching their brand new Powerup today. They're going to speak right after me. And then Corello, one of our Powerup developers, is here as well. So I know maybe not all of you are Trello Superfans. Maybe many of you are just getting started on your Trello journey. Maybe you're deciding whether you want to take the first step. Maybe you're a Jira admin and you just came here to heckle me. I don't know. So let me just get a quick show of hands. How many people in this room consider themselves Trello Superfans? Okay, they're recording this and they can't see the audience, so I'm just going to count. It looks like 5,000 people raised their hands. Okay, so how many of you are just getting started? Okay, another 20,000 people raised their hands. That's awesome. So how many of you got lost at Atlassian Summit and just ended up in this room? Okay, a couple people. So if you didn't get the last question, I'll explain a little bit. Back in 2017, an Australian software company called Atlassian acquired Trello. So you may have noticed the signs when you came in the hall. So Atlassian at its core is a team collaboration company. Their mission is to unleash the potential of every team. And some of you might have gone to the keynote on open, an open way of being, of thinking, and working. And I think that you'll see a lot of alignment between what Jay and Beck and Molly were just talking about on stage and how we see the world at Trello. That's something that actually made this deal really exciting to me over a year ago and why I'm here still celebrating today. So Trello's promise has always been to provide a shared perspective. And I'll get into that in a second. But at its root, what that means is being open with your work and what you're doing and the information you're sharing, how you're communicating with your team. When you're open, everyone can be on the same page. So what does that look like in the real world? Well, take the Trello team, for example. We're over 150 people now. 70% of our team is remote. distributed around the world, all the way from London to New York to Hawaii to Sydney. And we use Trello, obviously, internally to see what's going on and how to move forward together. Here's a little video we made earlier this year to introduce people to Trello and show them exactly how Trello can help you plan any project. So take a look. So you can see, thanks, that's great. You can see how you can use Trello to organize any kind of project. In this case, it was actually a camping trip. But when we first started out, we had a little bit humbler aspirations. So my co-founder, Joel Spolsky, and I, we ran a small software company in New York City. It was called Fog Creek Software. And like a lot of founders, as our company grew, we started to feel like we didn't have a good idea of what was going on. You know, we wanted to make sure people were working on the most meaningful projects for the business. We were using a project management app at the time. It had a lot of the detail, all the issues that the developers were working on. But as business owners, we really wanted to get a high-level overview of what was happening. So we came up with this idea called 5 things. And the idea was that everyone would have a list, and it could only hold 5 things. And that constraint was important. And then you would put all these lists next to each other, so you see everyone's list. And you could just scan across and really read quickly what was going on in the company. And we thought this was a good idea. And we sort of evolved. We worked on it during the Innovation Week. And we built this tool to give people a shared perspective. And that's how Trello was born. But Trello wasn't always called Trello. So at the time, we had a code name for the project. It was Trellis. You know, like it's a structure to support a plant to grow on. And we thought of our software as a structure for your projects to grow on. And we were going to launch this at a conference called TechCrunch Disrupt. We were going to enter into a competition called Startup Battlefield. And as it got closer to that conference date, we needed a domain. We needed to put it up on the web somewhere. Trellis.com was actually taken. So the day arrived for our deadline. We had to pick a name. We didn't have any. We got everyone in the conference room. And at the time, our mascot was a manatee. I don't know if you know what a manatee is. It's a sea cow. I don't know why that was our mascot. And one of the developers raised his hand. He's like, well, you know, Trello's about planning. We have this mascot that's a manatee. Let's put them together. We'll call it Planetee. It's the worst name ever, but obviously the domain name was available, right? $10, and no one had registered it. So I walk out of that conference room, and I'm just thinking, like, I can't do this. This is a mistake. And my co-founder looks at me and says, I don't know what you want to do. We have an hour. He's like, come up with a better name. So I went back to my desk. I went to this instant domain searching website. I'm typing furiously in it. Around and around I go. Finally, I type Trellis one more time, and an ad pops up for Trello.com. I buy it instantly. I run around the office. They say, what do you think about Trello? And people are like, I don't know, hello. I guess it's better than Planetee. And so I was like, done. That's good enough. So the big day came. We went to TechCrunch Disrupt. We competed in the Startup Battlefield. And then we lost. We did not win. But something happened. It started to catch on. People were signing up. We got to over 1 million users. We couldn't believe it. And then now, I'm here today. We have 35 million registered users across the globe. So I guess we're stuck with the name now. It's like, can't change it. Trello is available in over 21 languages. It's used in every country in the world. There's even Trello users in the tiny island nation of Nauru in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So people around the world are using Trello to accomplish great things. But what is it about Trello that helps them every day? I mean, obviously it's because Trello is so simple. There's just boards, lists, and cards, and that's it. You know, boards can be created for literally anything that requires organization and collaboration, whether it's launching a marketing campaign, could be new hire onboarding, or just collecting your recipes. The boards are made up of lists, which can be used to create a workflow or just organize information. Cards are added to the lists. They can represent tasks, ideas, information, or anything you want. And then cards can be moved across the list to show your progress. All this adds up to a high-level perspective on what you're doing. Now, as we work on Trello and we build Trello, we've grown a lot, but we always want to stay true to that original vision. So we created 4 pillars to guide us and how to move the product forward. I want to talk about that for a little bit. So the first is that Trello is visual. At a glance, members should be able to understand the status of their Trello board. You know, we use distinctive visual elements that are in place so users don't need to rely on reading a whole bunch of text just to find the thing they're looking for. You can think about features like card covers and board backgrounds that help you express yourself. This is a board that Typeform created as a visual company directory. So this is people could put faces to names. You know, you're the new person at the company, you're walking down the hall, you run into somebody, you don't know who they were. Okay, you pull out your Trello board, you check, okay, I didn't remember their name. So they're going to be talking about this later this afternoon, along with sharing their brand new Powerup, which is launching today. The second pillar is delightful. So work is hard, but that doesn't mean it can't be fun. We try to make sure that everything we do brings our users some fun and delight. Heather Ferris, she's the creator of this blog called The Balanced Mama, and she was using Trello for family meal planning when an idea struck. She realized that you could also use Trello to solve a problem that every parent has, including myself. So I have 2 young girls at home. They're always making this amazing artwork. But as they keep creating more and more art, you run out of place to put it on the wall, and you don't want them to see when you put it in the trash, and you hide it so they can't. So what she discovered was you could take a picture, put it on your Trello board, organize it by year, so that everyone in the family can reminisce and appreciate all their talents. I got to copy this board really quick. So third, Trello has to be super easy. I think for any collaboration tool, this is the Achilles heel is getting other people to actually use it. There can't be a steep learning curve when you get started on Trello. We never want to overload it with too much so that it loses its simplicity. And then lastly, universal, and this is the most important one. So Trello, people use it across industries, across job functions, for their personal life, for work. You also see this principle show up in things like being able to use Trello anywhere in the world, even in a place that has really bad network connectivity. So like offline mode is a feature. Or even a feature like colorblind friendly mode, so that we know that everyone on your team can actually see what the labels are doing. So take UNICEF, for example. They have a global innovation center. This is an entirely nomadic team, and they're spread all over the world, and they're collaborating asynchronously. So they needed a tool that anyone could use without a ton of explanation to organize the projects across the world. So this team, they use Trello to organize 222 projects spanning relief, human rights, and educational advocacy programs across 190 countries. For every country and project, they have a board. During Hurricane Irma, this team was responsible for deploying life-saving information to residents of the affected countries to help them prepare for and recover from the damaging effects of the storm. They were working around the clock and around the globe, and their team was able to reach over 22,000 people in under 30 hours. Where one person would leave off, the next person would pick up with total transparency into what had happened and what needed to be done next on Trello. So that story truly inspires me. It continues to make me feel so passionate about the work we're doing. Hearing those stories from you, our users, is what drives us every day. And our team has been hard at work to solve some of the biggest issues across Trello so that we can get you moving faster on all of your life's projects. So you're here to learn about Trello, so I'm excited to share some of the progress that we've made on that vision over the past year. 35 million registered users, that's millions and millions of boards. That's literally billions and billions of cards. That's like a lot of Trello. So I think we do a pretty good job at giving you a perspective at the board level, on an individual board. But as you lean into Trello and you have lots of boards and lots of projects, we weren't doing such a great job at giving you perspective across those boards. So we went back to the 4 core pillars: the visual, easy to use, delightful, and universal. And we wanted Trello to do a better job at making information easier to find across your boards to help you be more productive. So we thought long and hard about this. And earlier this year, we released one of our biggest updates ever, which was Trello Home. So this is the home page when you first come to Trello where you land, or you can get there by clicking that Trello logo at the top of the page. So Home is a lot of things, but one of the things that is a news feed of activity that gives you a 30,000-foot view of all your boards, your tasks, and your activity in one place. It surfaces the most important information to the top, so we can help you prioritize your work so that you never miss an important update again. These are actually some screenshots of ideas that we're playing with on Home. These aren't live yet. But I wanted to share that with you so you could see where this was going. So every time you log into Trello, you're greeted with a single view that shows you which due dates are coming out next, the card activities that need your immediate attention, everything that's happened across your boards that you watch while you're gone. In the future, Home will get even more useful in surfacing relevant info based on what's important to you. It will make the connections between your team stronger, work done faster. This year, we also focused on improving and increasing our integrations to other tools. You know, I'd like to think that maybe you only use Trello all day long, but I know that there's probably other tools in your toolkit that help you get your work done. So when we joined Atlassian, we wanted to bring our products closer together. So right away, we built native integrations across the whole Atlassian suite. We've also invested heavily in making sure you can integrate with any other tool that you want. Combining Trello with the other tools you use every day gives you superpowers. So in 2015, we launched our Powerups platform to give developers and users a way to personalize Trello for their unique needs. And this year, we launched a Powerups directory to make all the ways to customize Trello more discoverable. So today, I'm excited to announce that we've launched over 100 Powerups. So while that number is impressive, I think, the quality is even more so. And if you haven't, please, for example, check out Butler or Unido. These are amazing automation power-ups that'll show you the depth and flexibility that Trello has. The Trello Powerup directory and the integrations, they meet all your teamwork's needs, and millions of you using them every day. In fact, there's over 1.5 million people using the Trello Gmail integration. We also have all the communication tools that you need to discuss your work. For you Slack users out there, we know how important it is for Slack and Trello to work together seamlessly to help you get your projects from idea to done. We recently announced a strategic partnership with Slack last month. So you'll be seeing some exciting developments between our 2 products coming soon. And today, I'm excited to announce both a new integration and Powerup for Workplace by Facebook. If your team uses Workplace, you can now share important Trello updates and context within your workplace groups. So I've shared with you how Trello will evolve, all the tools you can connect with Trello, but now I'm going to talk a little bit about where you can use Trello. So for many of you, you organize your whole life on Trello. So you should obviously be able to access it anywhere, anytime. Trello is available on the web, iOS, Android, offline, online, but something was still missing. So last fall, we launched one of our most requested features ever, which was our desktop app. This allows you to have a persistent application of Trello right on your screen. No more toggling between tabs to manage your boards. Since launch, the Trello desktop app has been downloaded more than 1.3 million times. That's a lot. And to give you even more opportunities to express yourself as you're accomplishing so many great things, we launched emoji reactions, which are going to be coming, currently available on cards, will be on notifications on the web and mobile soon, and then eventually in Trello Home as well. So let me shift gears for a second. Trello is a great tool for all sorts of projects, but often the hardest part is just getting started. So I'll give you an example. My wife and I, we used to live in an apartment. We bought a house about 2 years ago. And I had 2 young girls. We're moving to the suburbs. Most projects, I just whip up a board with all the to-dos, but I had never owned a house before. I didn't know what I had to do. But, you know, we hear this all the time. People say, I'm planning a vacation on Trello. I'm starting a business. I'm planning a team offsite. I don't know where to begin. So wouldn't it be great if somehow you could see how someone else did it before and then use that as a reference for your own board? So this year we launched Inspiration, which is available at trello.com/inspiration. And this is a place where you could see all the amazing boards and projects others have created to help you get your board off the ground. We love seeing all the different ways our users build their boards and are so excited to share their work with the world. But this isn't the only way that people are sharing their Trello experiences publicly. You know, I've mentioned being open a few times today. One of the most powerful examples of how teams are bringing a new level of openness to their work is through the use of public boards. So these teams are connecting directly with their users and customers and building a community around their work. For example, Fortnite, which is a popular video game, in case you haven't heard of it, they have a public roadmap for players to see what issues in the game are getting fixed. They stay engaged with the game because they're confident that their issues are going to get addressed soon. Slack's platform team, they also have a board where they share their quarterly updates on their roadmap with the developer community via their public Trello board. Developers are creating tools that interact with Slack. They want to know what's being prioritized so they can prepare for what's being shipped next. So the UN social media team uses Trello to communicate many initiatives globally across social media, like their 2018 climate campaign. They share information in real time and in many languages to keep people engaged and interested in being global citizens. So these are all great examples of how companies are getting value out of public boards. With the option of enabling voting or commenting, companies can get real-time feedback from their audience to make more informed decisions. So that's some of the cool stuff we've done over the past year, but I know some of you power users out there, you're probably well-versed in that, so you're probably thinking, okay, but what's next? Glad you asked. So we've been spending a lot of time here at Trello thinking about what's next. Like, where can we go that's new and exciting while we stay true to our original vision, to you, our users? When we think about this, when we think about the boards, the projects, the teams, what we're really looking at is a story. So today I wanted to share with you a quick story of how one entrepreneur in Oakland went from a hobby of screen printing t-shirts to opening up her own shop. She's an inspiration to entrepreneurs everywhere who dream of taking the leap. Let's take a look. So we want to make it even easier than ever to share your stories with the world, or even your team. So imagine you're joining a board and you're seeing exactly what its intention is. What are you supposed to achieve with your team at a glance? How can you add value immediately? So with Trello Home, you see your story and your team's story. They're surfacing everything you need to know in one place. You'll be able to look back at what's happened, the activity across your team as you work toward a common goal. So no more acting on incomplete information or accidentally doubling work. You'll have a clear understanding of everything happening across your team in one view. And your experiencing accessing Trello on any device will continue to improve. Mobile is incredibly, incredibly important to us. We've put a lot of resources behind making your mobile experience first class. You can expect to see the fruits of this effort later this year. That's good. Yeah. So public boards have long been a place where companies and communities and teams, they share their story. But engagement was always kind of a one-way street. So we're building a more collaborative vision for sharing information on public boards, giving you the tools to see the impact of your story. These are some ideas that we're playing with social sharing, page views, and more. Everything you need to see the ROI on the effort that you put into the board. And with Atlassian, the team company, we're going to continue to explore and invest in new ways to strengthen how our teams communicate, how you collaborate, and you complete your work on Trello so you can get work done faster. One of the most exciting of these investments for companies is Atlassian Access. Now we're in Europe, so I know security is really important. It's always top of mind. We're going to ensure that Trello checks off all the security boxes you need to run Trello in your company with the launch of Trello on Atlassian Access later this year. So Atlassian Access is a way to get company-wide security, visibility, and control across all the Atlassian cloud products, including Trello, and allow you to collaborate more easily across the entire product family. And speaking of company-wide security, I'm also excited to share that we just rolled out enterprise-wide permissions on Trello's enterprise product. This feature gives enterprise admins more insight and additional control on how their teams are using Trello. That team is actually kicking butt. They're going to be shipping a lot of stuff real soon. So now that you know what's going on at Trello, let me share a bit about what you can expect at our inaugural Trello Day. So you're going to hear from Pixar on how their FX team brought The Incredibles 2 to life. You're going to learn how the Google team uses Trello to stay organized and find project bottlenecks. You'll even hear how one man realized his dream of climbing Mount Denali using Trello to guide him. Don't miss that one. So the Trello team is here, and we're going to share all kinds of tricks and hacks to optimize your Trello experience. They're going to have sessions throughout the day. Everything is in this room, and they'll be available to grab and ask anything you need. So we wanted to thank you so much for being here to experience our first ever Trello Day, and to say our thanks. As a start, everyone in this room is going to get free 3 months of Trello Gold. Here's the URL. I promise I won't tell anyone if you share that URL with somebody else. So. And a couple more things before I let you go. So we're a company that values being open. And I invite you to share your open and honest feedback with us on how our day went. So you're going to get an email survey later this week. Please let us know how we did. We really want to exceed your expectations. It's the first time we've ever done this. So your feedback can really be helpful to us. And remember earlier I mentioned that we've been doing small user groups across the globe. We launched Trello events globally. And so we'll be holding a lot more meetups where you can continue the fun of today wherever you live. We already have leaders hosting events anywhere from Dallas to Nigeria, India to Barcelona. I met the leader here today. So if you want to get involved, click yes in the feedback survey, and we'll be in touch with more details soon. This day is going to be so much fun. So we definitely want to share your experience. If you do on Instagram or Twitter, please use the Trello Day hashtag. And one more thing. So today is going to be jam-packed with Trello goodness. But save some energy for tonight. Down in Puerto Olímpico, we're going to have a bash. It's our biggest party of the year. We hope you'll connect with other Trello users, hit the dance floor, and fiesta. So I'll see you out there. Thank you so much.